If you have ever seen somebody hear a song one or two times and then sit down on the piano and think to yourself, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. Today's video is for you. In this video, I'm going to take you step by step how you can start to work on learning to play by ear. I tell you, you do not have to be born with this skill. It's something very much that can be learned. I had to learn it. You can learn it too. Stick around. I'm Brenda Earl-Stokes. I'm the owner and creator of Piano and Voice with Brenda. I make creative and practical resources for musicians like you to level up your skills and become a more versatile musician. So, all about ear training today. I'm going to show you how you can learn to play by ear. Now, I did a video earlier called How to Do Ear Training, and I'm going to put a link up here to it. I'll link it in the description box below. And that's a place to start because we're going to be doing stuff learning songs, but that one showed you a bunch of different methods of like getting used to playing melodies on the piano, things like that. So if you're starting from scratch, you might start there and then come back to this video. So basically what we did in the last video is getting used to finding melodies on the piano, getting used to playing rhythms. And today I'm going to show you how to actually learn an entire song. Here's the story of how I got started in all of this. Years ago, when I was in my very early 20s, I got a job on a cruise ship. And this is a long time ago. This is before Spotify. This is before, Ultimate Guitar, any of these sites where you can find songs. And I had a lot of songs to learn. And I had brought a lot of CDs with me. People would make requests for songs and I'd go, oh God, I don't know that one. And I'd say, come back tomorrow. I'll play it for you. The way that I learned how to play all of this is I would sit in my tiny cruise cabin, tiny. And I would sit in bed and I would copy out the lyrics by hand because, again, no iPads, none of that, right? Obviously, you can just Google them and print them out now. But then what I would do is I would sit with a tiny keyboard or my pitch pipe, try to figure out what key the song was in, and then sing through it. And I learned literally hundreds of songs this way. Because I didn't have all the sheet music that I needed for everything. It was like too much to carry in my one suitcase. And so this is what I did. So I'm going to take you through this method and it works really, really well. So let's get started. So the first thing that you want to do when you're trying to learn a song like this is to get a copy of the lyrics. And so I think I'm going to do the song My Girl, because that's like an easy one and it's not terribly difficult. My Girl lyrics. So I'm just going to do a quick lyrics check here. My Girl here. And then I'm just going to copy this and paste it onto a sheet of paper. As you'll see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it onto this sheet and I'm going to double space it. I'm going to make lots and lots and lots of space so that you have room to kind of work everything out. Another thing that I'm going to do right off the bat is I'm going to make a note in here, and you can do this by hand. I'm going to make a note into where the verse and the chorus is. So it's like, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? So this is the verse, right? And I'm just going to mark that in. And then I guess you say, what will make me feel this way? And then we've got the chorus. My girl, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl. And then look, we've got the verse again, right? And so I'm just going to go through and mark it out like this so that you can see where all of this is. So I've got the chorus again here. What can make me feel this way? My girl, talking about my girl. Ooh. And then we've got the verse again. I don't need no money, fortune, or fame. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Then we've got the chorus. What can make you feel this way? My girl, talking about my girl. So you could mark it that way, or you could even mark that the chorus kind of starts here. But I'm just going to put that simple like this. So I'm just going to print it real quick and then meet you back here. Now I have the lyrics printed here. And we're going to use this as our guide to help us. Again, you can do it by hand. It doesn't make any difference. But we're going to use this as our guide to kind of figure out what we're hearing. Now, I'm not going to be able to play this recording out loud, or else I'm going to hit with a big copyright infringement. So you'll just have to kind of take my word for how I'm going through all of this. What we're going to now figure out as our kind of second step is we're going to figure out what key we're in, because that's going to be really, really important to us to figure that out. We're going to figure out the key so that we're not kind of stabbing in the dark for what chords there are. And then we're going to start to map up where the bass lines are. Okay, so the first thing is, so now that we have the lyrics and everything ready to go, our next job is to figure out what key we're in. Because if we try to do this without thinking of the key, then it's going to be very difficult for us to determine like what notes we're going to play or what chords, because this is a song that I picked because it's relatively diatonic, which means within the key. And so we're just going to listen to the very beginning. Da 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 da. Da, da, da. And so now we're going to look and see if we can find that on the piano. Da, 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 da. You see how that works? So now I can kind of listen to the recording and kind of play along with it. Right. So now we know that this song is in the key of C, and that may require you to listen to the song for a bit and just play the scale up and down. So we're going to make our first mark on our paper here. All right, we're in the key of C, right? And if you need to, you can write out the notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? Just like that. Those are the notes of the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So we're going to have a better chance to kind of figure out what we're doing. Now what we're going to do is go in where we have lots of space, and we're going to start to figure out what the bass note is. And what we're not looking for is for the whole bass line. We just need the first kind of sound in every bar. So all we have to do now is start to map out what the bass notes are. And we don't have to sing the entire bass line, but we do have to find the first bar of the first beat of every bar is going to be more likely than not, going to be the first chord, right? And so we're going to go da, 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 da. Da. So what chord is that? Well, that's a C. So we're not deciding major or minor right now. We're just saying it's C. So I'm going to write on my sheet here, C. I've got sunshine, da 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 da, da 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 da. So what note is that? It's F. So it goes, I've got C to F on a cloudy day. And then look, it's C again. And then it's F when it's cold. And you'll notice where it says cold, I'm going to put the C there. Outside, da. I've got the month of C, F, right? And so I'm going to take a minute. You're going to probably need to do a little bit more plunking than me, but you're going to just sit and work through this, trying to plunk out the notes. And so I'm saying, okay, I heard a C here, and you see I'm putting the symbols in, the letters in, where they fall in with the melody, okay? And then it goes, da. Right? And so you can see when it's cold outside, F, I've got the month of C, F, right? We've got that organized there. So now we're on to this next part. And if we listen to it a couple of times, we hear da, 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 da. And it doesn't matter the precise rhythms and things that the bass player is playing. That's not our concern. We're just trying to find the bass notes. And so it goes, I guess, go C and D, U'd, F, and G. Not can make me, oops, D, right? And then feel F this way, okay? So let's, sort of fast forward here that you've got this information written out. So we've got C, D, F, G, C, D, F, G. And so now what you have to do is go through and decide whether the chords are major and or minor. It's a binary question. So I've got sunshine, right? I've got sunshine. Okay, so we know for sure that this has to be a C major chord, because if we play minor, it sounds like horrible, right? It's binary. It's a binary choice. I've got sunshine, so that's major. On a cloudy. Now, is it minor? On a cloudy. No, we know it's major, right? You go back and forth through them and say, and this repeats, is it changing? Is it going from C minor to F minor? Or is it back major to minor or major to major, right? Then we're going to go into this next section and say, well, are these chords major or minor? So we're going to take a minute. It goes C. So that sounds right. Major sounds right. What about this one? I guess. Or is it I guess? So is it the major one, D major? Or is it D minor, right? Now, hopefully your ear hears that that's a D minor chord. And so you're going to put the little minus sign in for minor, right? And you're going to do the same thing for each of the chords, just like that, okay? And then by the time you've gotten down, you're like, well, that's the verse. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. The same thing when you start working through the chorus, right? You're going to find the chords and you're going to write them into the music. Once you're done, you have your own, ultimate guitar lyrics chord sheet, right? That you have of the song that you've learned by ear. Okay. And then at this point, you could jump into our usual routine for creating our piano accompaniments, like, kind of putting that together, which if you need a refresher, this is one of my biggest watched videos of all time. I think it has like almost 90,000 views. I'll link it below too, so that you can start from this place of having learned put together a lyrics and chord chart here, and then you can turn it into an arrangement. If you want to add another detail, you absolutely are welcome to, because again, you can use your ear training skills at this point to say, well, I want to learn the da, 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 right? And so then you could sit down and plunk that out as well. And if you want to with that, because this is another cool way for you to do, and you want to kind of remember it, you could either write that out in music notation if you wanted to. So if you had a piece of manuscript paper handy, right, and you wanted to write the bass line out, you could go da, 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 right? You could do that if you wanted to, writing it in notation. Or you could do, this is what I do for my students who don't feel super secure. You could just write, you see how I've just written it out like that, but I've written it going up, so you can tell that it's going up. So if you have any little details in here and you want to remember what they are, you could take something like this and write it at the beginning and go bass line, C, D, E, G, A, C, like that. You see what I mean? So once you're done with all of this, then you have learned to play a song by ear. That's it. That's all there is to this to get started. I strongly recommend that you start with something that's very, very easy. So, like any number of kind of like simple, like maybe a CCR song, or, something that's like a blues, or, like a very simple pop song. Ed Sheeran has a lot of songs that are very simple harmonically. And you just have to go through this step-by-step process. Remember, the first thing that we do is we get the lyrics out. You can write them by hand or you can print them out, whichever floats your boat. Just make sure there's some room on it so you can write in your chords. The next thing that you're going to do is identify the key. So you're going to kind of sing your way through it, see if you can find some tempos. And then if you say, I think this is in the key of D, you'll play the D scale up and down as the song is going on to confirm, right? Then what you're going to do is go through and identify the first beat of every bar. Try to figure out what the bass player is playing there, because that will often expose like what the harmony is. And then after that, you're going to determine whether the chords are major or minor. Now, later on down the road, you can decide if there's a seventh on it or any kind of variations of that. But for the meantime, one or the other. It's major or minor, just very binary. And then you're going to add in any details that you want, either using music notation if you're comfortable doing that, or just writing down the letter names kind of as a guide. The first song you do is going to be really hard. The second one is going to be less hard. And as you get a handful of these into your pocket, this is how you start to figure all this information out. It is a huge, huge game changer. And I tell you, I used to be able to, I can just sit down and play pretty much any song now, just as I'm hearing it. And it was not something that I could do naturally. I really had to work on it. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you leave me a huge thumbs up and leave me a comment below. Let me know what song you want to learn by ear, because I would love to hear that from you. I'd be curious to see what you're keen to learn. If you want to develop your ear training anymore, I have a really fantastic collection of courses called Ear Training and Solfege. And this is not only an entire course on movable do solfege, which is an old technique that people use to really build their ears, but it also has some much, much deeper versions of me taking you through step by step this kind of information. So if you're serious on building your ear training, I strongly recommend you check it out. And it's part of one of my many courses included in the Versatile Musician membership. This is my all-inclusive membership that includes a ton of courses, printables, resources, all that kind of stuff. Plus, we do 1 or 2 live Zoom workshops every month based on requests of the members. It's really fantastic. And so if that's something that you're keen to check out, you'll get access to the ear training and solfege course, plus everything else immediately. And all you have to do is go to theversatilemusician.com and make sure you enter coupon code GETSTARTED30. And for a limited time, you'll get $30 off your first month. I hope this was helpful for you. Happy practicing. You're going to have so much fun doing this, and I'll see you soon.